Welcome to Today at the Guild, podcasting results, news and winning performances from the 2025 Manx Music, Speech and Dance Festival.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Fastamai, it's Judith back in the studio for an hour of news, views, winning performances, lots of entertainment as I bring to you Today at the Guild. Well, it's not strictly just today. It's winning performances from today, but also from last night, because I had to leave the Royal Hall just when the concert classes were getting underway, and it was a fabulous night's entertainment. I've listened to all the recordings, and huge congratulations to everybody who took part. And we had winning performances from Manx Concert Brass and from Douglas Town Band, and congratulations to Onken Silver Band, who took the special award for the most entertaining performance, and the best soloist of the night was Ian Astill from Douglas Town Band. And it's Douglas Town Band that we're going to hear from first, with a piece that'll be very familiar to you, and I think is a cracking start to the programme. Douglas Town Band, a winning performance. Listen to their soloist, Ian Astill. And that performance from Douglas Town Band with the best soloist of the night, Ian Astill, and Douglas Town Band, conducted by Robert Mitchell. Now, let me just tell you how all the classes worked out, the component parts worked out last night. It's a very, very entertaining class. It's a little concert by each of the bands, and the elements are a standard march, a hymn tune, and then a concert performance that the band chooses their own material to make the most entertaining performance and the one that shows off their players to best advantage. So, in the standard march class, first place went to Manx Concert Brass, conducted by Ian Clegg. Now, marks are not given out. Marks are given on the adjudication sheet, but they are not announced. But when I do find out that somebody has got a mark of 90 or more, I think it's worth a little mention, and that's what happened here. Manx Concert Brass, winners of the Standard March class, and they were awarded 90 marks for their performance. And Douglas Town Band, conducted by Robert Mitchell, were in second place in the march class. In the hymn tune class, we had a first place for Douglas Town Band, and their choice of hymn tune was The Day Thou Gavest. And it was a second place in the hymn tune class for Manx Concert Brass. And then when we came to the concert class, we had a first place in the concert class for Douglas Town Band and a second place for Manx Concert Brass. And as I say, the special award for most entertaining performance went to Owenson Silver Band. Now, between now and 10 o'clock, I will have music for you from Owenson Silver Band and, of course, from Manx Concert Brass. But we just try to move these things around so that you get the best flavour of the music from the Guild as much as I possibly can in the hour, which means that I'll be doing as little as possible talking, and the things that I'll be saying, I'll try to make them very important, like giving you lots of names of people who won classes during the day in the Royal Hall and in the Promenade Suite. Now, Sheffield Plate, it's the equivalent of the Cleveland Medal for Young Voices. It's a competition that draws together the winners of 8 different classes for ages and voice types, boys and girls, and those places for the Sheffield Plate are won during the course of several days over this week. And we know straight away the first 2 people who are going to be singing again for the Sheffield Plate, and I'm going to give you a chance to listen to them now. And they were both singing in the Promenade Suite this morning. And we start off with the winner of the boys' treble solo class. Now, this is for young singers aged 6 to 9. And last night in our results programme, I was talking about the welcome return of Jill Collins, who has taken a few years out from being an official accompanist because she hasn't been very well, but she looks in top form, and she was back accompanying these lovely young singers. And we had Hector Walls in second place, and the winner of the class was Eben Kilgallon, and Eben is going to sing for you now. It's a test piece, and it's all about conkers. This is class winner Eben Kilgallon.
Conkers, I'm collecting conkers. I'm trying hard to find the biggest and the best. Conkers, lots of lovely conkers. I want a conker that is better than the rest. Under the chestnut tree, where no one's been, the spiky shells lie on the ground. Beneath
A very confident and tuneful performance there from class winner Eben Kilgallon. And Eben was accompanied by Jill Collins, and he will go forward to be one of the 8 young people competing for the Sheffield Plate later in the week. I'll tell you when we get a little bit nearer to the time for that. Now, that class was followed by the girls' solo class, and this is for young singers. Again, these are between 6 and 7 years of age. And it was lovely to see over 20 youngsters taking part here. Again, lots of work for official accompanist Jill Collins. And we had a second place for Sophia Day. The winner of the class, and therefore another qualifier for the Sheffield Plate, is Eva Corkish. And here is Eva Corkish to sing for you. And it's a set song, again, for this class, as it is with all the qualifying classes. It's a test piece, and the young singers will repeat that test piece in the Sheffield Plate competition. This is from the pen of Lynn Marsh, who has visited this island a few times, and the song is Orange and Yellow and Brown. And here to sing for you, class winner Eva Corkish. Congratulations to class winner Eva Corkish, and Eva and Eben going forward to compete with 6 other young voices that have yet to be decided for the Sheffield Plate, but well done to them. Now, we are going to have some duets now, because the quality of the young singing, well, I always say this, don't I, every year, quality of the young singing is absolutely great. And we had some very talented duettists who are singing for us. And I'm going to give you a chance to listen to a couple of performances now. And we're starting off with class winners. Now, these are names that will be familiar because they are young people who give a lot of support to the Guild, and we're always pleased to welcome them back. This is a duet class. Again, the official accompanist is Jill Collins, and this is for 8 to 11-year-olds. And we had second place for Alice Daykin and Frida Anderson, and a class win for Lyla King and Parker Kissack. Let's listen to Lyla and Parker singing for us now, and it's from that very popular musical Wicked, and the song is called What Is This Feeling? Lyla King and Parker Kissack to entertain you.
What is this feeling so sudden and new? I felt the moment I laid eyes on you. My pulse is rushing, my head is moving, well, my face is flushing. What is this feeling, fervid as a flame? Does it have a name? Yes. Loathing, unadulterated loathing for your face, for your clothing. Let's just say I loathe it all. Every little trait, however small, makes my very flesh begin
Well, that went down very well in the Promenade Suite, didn't it? That was What Is This Feeling? And it was a class win for Lyla King and Parker Kissack. And close behind them in a second place, Alice Daykin and Frida Anderson. Zippity doo-dah. Here they are to entertain you. Oh, they're terrific, aren't they? Lyla King, Parker Kissack were class winners. That was Alice Daykin and Frida Anderson. And I quite like that one. I knew all the words to it. You are listening to Today at the Guild. I'm bringing you results, winning performances and lots of news from this day at the Manx Music Festival.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Right, we're on the move. We are going back to St Thomas's Church because Sunday there were a number of very different classes held in the lovely surroundings of St Thomas's. So beautiful, beautiful stained glass, and a very fitting atmosphere for the classes that were held there. But because they were towards the early evening in St Thomas's, wasn't able to include them in our results yesterday. So let's turn our attention to that now, and I've got some lovely voices and organ playing for you. Now, we started off the competitions in St Thomas's with a class that has moved into the Guild, and it seems to me that it's very appropriate that it should. Rather than a class, I should say a competition. And this is the Cranmer Prayer Book Reading Competition, which used to be a separate competition in itself. But the organisers of it thought that it was a good fit to move it into the Guild, and I think that's absolutely right. And again, in St Thomas's, a good setting for Bible reading. And this is slightly separate from the Guild in that there are two age ranges. For the first group is for young people aged 11 but not yet 15, and then a senior group for 15-year-olds but not older than 19. That's the limit. Now, the point about these, the material is relatively own choice, but it has to be taken from the Cranmer Prayer Book. But there is quite a wide choice. It has to be chosen from the 1662 Book of Common Prayer, but it could be from a prayer service, it could be from a baptism or a marriage service, or special prayers of thanksgiving, or an epistle or gospel. So there's a lot of choice for the young people. And it was lovely to see that both the junior class and the senior class were very well supported with some very confident performances there. And I think I'm right in saying the winner of the senior class will go forward to represent the island next February in the finals of this Thomas Cranmer Prayer Book Reading Competition, because it's a national competition and there are heats for it held all over the British Isles, and then in February each year the individual winners will all go and represent their area. And so I can tell you now that Zoe Vogel, who was the winner of the senior class, will be representing us in London in the spring of next year, and we wish her well and we will follow her progress very closely. Sean Cannon was the winner of the junior class. And now I think I'm right in saying that Sean does not go forward to the competition, but I stand to be corrected on that one. I just haven't had an opportunity to check that with the organisers of the competition. So if I'm wrong, I shall tell you. But whether or not, all the people who took part in the junior and senior classes there gave excellent performances, and we thank them for their support for that. And then we moved on to the vocal solo class for 18-year-olds but under 26. And again, lovely voices. We had Maya Haddock singing and Jessie Quigley. It was a class win for Jessie Quigley, and it was an own choice of 2 contrasting songs not already in the syllabus. And so the choice of the class winner, Jessie Quigley, we're going to hear one of Jessie's pieces now, which is a lovely piece by Michael Head. Jessie is accompanied by the wonderful Graham Kirkland, who was singled out for special mention, as are all our accompanists at some point during the week. The adjudicators always single them out for a special mention for their sensitivity of playing and their just sheer hard work. So Graham accompanies Jessie Quigley as she sings for us now, Make a Joyful Noise Unto the Lord. This is Jessie Quigley. A class-winning performance there from Jessie Quigley, accompanied by Graham Kirkland, and that was the winning performance from the vocal solo for 18-year-olds but under 26 years. And congratulations to Maya Haddock, who was second placed in that class. Then we followed that with the general vocal solo class for adults. And again, the accompanist Graham Kirkland, and that produced a second place for Josh Quinn with John Ireland's Sea Fever, and a first place for Rhiannon Mellor with their Hamilton Hardy's Sea Rack. And in a few moments, we will listen to Rihanna singing that. But just before that, I thought we'd just have something a little bit different from another class in St Thomas's on Sunday. And that's the organ classes. Now, there have always been 3 organ classes offered in the Guild: a beginners, an intermediate and an advanced class. But for several years, there have always been people in the advanced class, and then it becomes a lovely concert because, you know, people like John Riley and Gareth Moore have taken part, and Hilary Sewell and people like that. And so it's become a lovely concert class because within a time limit of 20 minutes, the organist can put together a mix of pieces of their own choosing. So it's great to listen to and always a high standard. But there hasn't always been people in the beginner and intermediate classes. But there were this year, and that's terrific because it shows that we have young organists coming forward and that people are still keen to learn what always seems to me to be quite a complex instrument. So just before we move back to the beginners and intermediates, I want to say congratulations to John Riley, who was first placed in the advanced organ class, and later in the week I'll play you some of John's music. And congratulations also to Shari Bolton, who was second placed in the advanced organ class. So thank you to them both for the pleasure they gave us with their music. But great to listen to younger players, newer players, and the winner of the beginners class is going to play for you now. And he is Charles Kerruish, and he chose 2 contrasting pieces. Again, we've a shorter time limit for the beginners, and this is Charles Kerruish playing the organ in St Thomas's Church, and God is Love. Charles Kerruish. Fine playing there from class winner Charles Kerruish. Charles won the beginners organ class. The intermediates organ class was won by Alexander Owenson, and again, like the beginners class, it's a choice of contrasting pieces, a contrasting programme with a time limit, this time of 8 minutes. Alexander chose Tranquility by Hubert Parry, and this that I'm going to play for you now, it is Alexander Owenson from part of his class-winning performance, and it is Tuba Tune by Craig Seller Lang. Alexander Owenson to play for you. Congratulations to class winner Owen Alexander Owenson, and that was part of his winning performance, Tuba Tune. So great to see those beginner and intermediate organ classes well supported, and thank you to everyone who took part there. Now, I mentioned that Rhiannon Meller was the winner of the general vocal solo class, and she's going to sing for you now. Sea-Rack is the piece by Hamilton Hardy, and once again, Rhiannon is accompanied by Graham Kirkland. And after we've listened to Rhiannon, we'll have a little look at some of the results of the piano competitions that were in the Royal Hall today. And again, some fine playing for us to enjoy.
The rock was dark and shiny where it floated in the sea. There was no one in the brown boat but only him and me. Him to cut the sea work, me to mind the boat, and not a word between us the hours we were afloat. The wet wreck, the sea wreck, the rock was strong to cut. We laid it on the grey rocks to wither in the sun. And what should call my lad then to sail from caution done, with a low moon, a full tide, a swell upon
What a dramatic song. Great performance there from Rhiannon Mellor, wonderfully accompanied by Graham Kirkland. And C-Rack gave a first place to Rhiannon Mellor in the general vocal solo class and Josh Quinn in second place. Now, when I mention second places or give you some results from classes that I'm not playing the performances immediately, don't think that, well, that's it, they've been moved over. It may well be that they will appear in another programme. It's just to try to give you as big a mix of performances and different types of, from instrumental to vocals as I can get into 1 hour. So may very well come back to another of those classes later in our coverage, because I'm here every night from 9 till 10, Monday to Friday, and then on Sunday night, next Sunday night, we'll have a big review programme of winning performances and all kinds of things as we get towards the end of the Guild, but we're not even thinking about that because we've only just started. Right, let's catch up on some results. So the final class that was in St Thomas's on Sunday night was the Oratorio and Sacred Cantata class for adults, and we had a lot of fine singing here from people who give a lot of support to the Guild, and thank you all for fine performances. Joint second place went to Terence Qualtrough and to Richard Costain. Richard lives away, and it's lovely that he comes back to the island, especially to take part in the Guild, and great just to see him back again. And great to hear Terence in fine voice. But the winner of the class there, the Oratorio and Sacred Cantata winner, was Christine Edmondson in fine voice. Now, we had piano classes in the Royal Hall today, and congratulations to class winners Max Lynn, Thomas Chase, Jonathan Pilling, Benjamin Dealtree, and let me see over the page, we've got Eric Zaho. Eric, I hope that I pronounced your surname correctly. Anna Tamarova. And we had also first place for Arlo William George Pattinson. And again, two wins for Arlo William George Pattinson. And we had a duet class win for Alice Daykin and Frida Anderson, who we heard singing a little while ago. And a class win, another duet class win for Emil Angelov and Julia Regina Rinkowska. And I think there might be a little bit of piano music towards the end of this programme. But we're going back to our band music now. I mentioned to you at the start of the programme that Onken Silver Band got the award for the most entertaining performance. Now, this is an entirely separate award that is given. It doesn't relate to any class wins. It's just in the view of the adjudicator whose performance was the most entertaining. Now, this can be because it's costumed or because they, add some little extra thing to it. But I leave you to decide as you listen to The Circle of Life, and this is winner of the most entertaining performance, Onken Silver Band. Great end to that. Onchan Silver Band, winners of the most entertaining performance, and they are conducted by David Caron. And I mentioned also that there was wonderful playing from Manx Concert Brass. They had 90 marks for their march, which will definitely be something that we'll have in a programme a bit later on in the week. But we're going to listen to them now with, I have to be honest and say, I picked this piece because it's actually a particular favourite of mine, and I hope I'll be forgiven for doing that. Conducted by Ian Clegg with the soloist Stephen Maddox, Manx Concert Brass are Feeling Good.
Manx Radio's coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
Manx Concert Brass with soloist Stephen Maddox, feeling good following their success on the Royal Hall stage last night. And thank you to all the bands who gave us such a very entertaining evening. Now, I gave you some results to who had won classes for piano playing, and that was what we were enjoying in the Royal Hall today. And we've got time to listen to one piece now. And some of the classes are graded according to age and others according to complexity of pieces. And it was Anna Tamarova who won the class for grades 5 and 6. That's the standard that the pieces have to be chosen from. And here's Anna to play Foggy Blues. Thank you for listening to our coverage of the 2025 Guild. Podcasts of all our reports are available shortly after broadcast at manxradio.com or via your usual podcast provider. And you can find video interviews with performers, teachers and other Guild celebrities also on the Manx Radio website and on our Facebook page too, with new ones added every day.
Manx Radio coverage of the Manx Music Festival is brought to you with Spectrum Windows. Find them on Facebook or spectrumwindows.im.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.